All right, I'm gonna watch a little bit of this Tribe of Men content, and then I'm gonna respond to it. What he's basically talking about passport bros. I might respond to a couple things before that. I got a couple minutes here before he starts talking about that, but let's play and see what happens.
Energy are you going to put into to become that top 5% so you can meet this? And if you say, you know what, I've done a risk analysis, I do have to correct him here, putting all their information. But if you say to yourself, you know something, my other priorities are otherwise, and you go about your life, I almost guarantee that if you have a lot of friends and you go out and you have social interactions with other people and you're a quality guy, you're probably going to find an opportunity to probably meet a decent woman, at least better than the girls here on the dating apps. But this is my example. Now I remove names and information that would be telling because I'm doing this on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean it's a catch 22. You know when you're thinking about do I do the dating apps or do I do cold approach? My attitude in the past, I think 4 years, has been you got to do cold approach. There's no other way because unless you're just 10 out of 10 super Chad in looks and you got a mansion and cars, it's not going to work out for you online. It stopped working out for me online around 2016. It literally just died. It literally just dropped off. It was working generally. I don't know. I say generally, but it was working once in a while. Like once in a blue moon, I would get a girl offline, and I'm not Chad. I'm not. I mean, I'm tall, but I'm not. I had basic pictures, selfie type pictures. Somewhere along the line, the game changed, and guys absolutely stepped their game up, and it was right around 2014, 15, 16 when that happened. And I think the reason for that is because PUA got more popular. It went more mainstream. Before that, PUA was kind of vague. It was kind of a little bit weirdo type territory, and it was like um, there was a lot of weirdo-ness associated with PUA. Companies like RSD, Real Social Dynamics, people like Owen Cook from Real Social Dynamics, uh, maybe even Rolo Tomasi and some of his advice on pickup artistry. The mystery method got more popular somewhere along the way. And I mean, I studied PUA. I think 2010. I started studying PUA, or 2009. A guy named David D'Angelo, a book called Double Your Dating, which is still an awesome book, one of the best I've ever read. Mystery Method's great too, but when it kind of went mainstream. Facebook blew up, like really blew up around 2012, 13, 14, and it was at its height, I think 2015, 16. So people were going online, and before that it was kind of still like, it was kind of vague. People didn't, yes, people were online all the time, but it hadn't really caught on to where like people were terminally online. Now everybody's online all the time. Everybody's connected to the smartphones all the time. It's like we're androids now. So it's a different environment. So my point is that uh learned how to step their game up. There's a dating program which is pretty popular. It's called Playing with Fire. Forget the guy's name, Alex Voyachek or something like that. He was a guy who was associated with a guy named John Anthony Lifestyle, whose real name is John Mulvaney, I think his name is, or something like that. Who's a total fraud, by the way. Um, but Alex Voyachek put out a program called Playing with Fire, where he taught guys, and I don't think any of their stuff, even J Mulv and all of them. J Mulv used to work for RSD, so he got his game blueprint from RSD. He basically just stole all the ideas and made his own program, and his program is called Occam's Razor or something. I got a copy of it, and I look at it sometimes, and it's not. There's nothing new, no new advice. But Alex Voyachek, who also probably stole his ideas from somewhere else, put together a program teaching men how to step up their online game, how to take better pictures, get a professional photographer, take certain types of pictures that make you look more interesting, make you look like you have a social life, make you look like you're successful, make you look like you are high value, whatever. And guys took hold around 2015, 16, and then so for me, I didn't do that. I didn't step my game up at that point. I was just going off these like whatever pictures, and I'm like a, I don't know, 5 or 6 out of 10 maybe it looks. I'm tall. I got that going for me. I've been athletic my whole life, but I couldn't. There was a curve, and or there was a bar that got raised, and I couldn't come up to it. So I stopped even attracting the type of girls that I was attracting. And the type of girls that I was attracting back then were like not even barely 6s, but 5s out of 10, and it was bullshit. It was bullshit dealing with those type of girls. It was a waste of time. I get flaked on, and girls with like total issues. I mean, I've had some luck as far as like, how should I put it? I've had like some girlfriends who I had a lot of fun with. I'll put it that way. I've had some girls that I spent time with. I think I had 4 major girlfriends in the last basically 15 years, and I spent about a year with each of those ones. Actually, one of them I spent 3 years with. One of them I spent like, yeah, about a year each, and one of them I think I spent like 2.5 years with or something like that, which is not a lot. I was never a guy that how do I put it? I was a guy who had girls around me in high school. I've always had girlfriends off and on, but never anything consistent. Like I was never one of those guys that like always had a girlfriend. I would have years or long periods where I wouldn't have a girlfriend. In my entire life, even counting high school, back when I was a virgin, before high school, I've probably had like maybe 20 girlfriends, which some people would be like, oh, that's a lot. But if you think about it, I've only had like only 4 of those 20 I actually had sex with, and only 4 of them I actually had prolonged sex with, like where it was like kind of every time I'd see them we'd have sex. The rest of them were just like high school girls, high school crushes, and this that. I probably didn't even kiss half of them. So it's not like these were real relationships or anything, So, but I've always had like girls kind of interested in me, kind of thinking I'm cute, kind of, oh, he's tall. Being tall, it really does matter. I'm 6'1". Even that's not that tall, but I'm taller than most guys. So like that matters. It kind of like it makes them raise an eye a little bit, like who's this guy kind of thing. But it doesn't get your foot in the door. So guys who are short, who think like, oh, all you got to be is tall, like that's so not true. I think money is way more important. Success, status is way more important. And then of course your face. If you have a hot face, if you're like a really attractive looking guy in your face, that really matters. I don't think I've ever really been like that. I've never had a lot of money, never been successful, except for high school when I was on the basketball team, and that did garnish me attention from girls, but I never knew how to capitalize on it because I was kind of shy and just didn't know how to talk to girls. I had no game, I had no confidence in high school. Anyway, so that's kind of my story, but I eventually started going online and it was playing the numbers game and just messaging like hundreds of girls a week, and eventually eventually you're going to get some hits, and eventually you're going to get some girls interested, and I had some hookups, and I had some girlfriends and some dates and flings and things like that, but nothing above like a 6. I think the highest I ever I hooked up with a girl who was like maybe a 7, and that's it, and like never even really that hot of girls. Never anything that I've wanted. I've never been successful in that area my entire life. Just straight up. But even at a certain point in 2016, I couldn't even get those 5s and 6s anymore. It just dropped. It just totally dropped off. So what Better Bachelor is saying here is he's saying the standard is raising. The bar is raising, and it's because guys have stepped their game up. Guys are competing on just a whole nother level. So if you're average, if you're if you're below average, like it's just there's no way. Plus, there's girls out here who are like literally 5s out of 10s who think they're 10s out of 10s. There's girls out here who are just nasty, who are like overweight, not even cute, just because guys will have sex with anything, they really believe that they're supermodels. It's bonkers. Like these people are not mentally well. These women are not living in reality. They're living in some kind of clown world or some kind of clown world. But yeah, we do live in clown world. But I mean, these women are living in some kind of like movie in their own head where they're the star and they really walk around like they don't know what's going on, or you know, they think they know what's going on, but they really have no idea what's going on. They don't know that they don't have any real value to quality men. They're just a hookup, they're just a fling at best, and even that probably for lower tier men, and they don't, and this is why we've got this epidemic of women on TikTok crying and complaining that guys don't call them back. Guys are ghosting them. Guys are standing them up for dates because they think they're better than they actually are. It's really bonkers, man. So that's true. That what Better Bachelor's saying here, and you can go and watch this video. This video is called "Are Dating and Red Pill Coaches Losing Touch with Men?" Which, yeah, of course they are, because how much, you know, can you really teach? How much can you really say when in reality, you know, we know it all, and at a certain point, like, it just gets redundant. It just gets repetitive. Like, we know it all. We've been through it. There's no answer. So it's like, you know, just go find something else. Go skateboarding. Go for a hike, or better yet, go talk to girls. Like, who cares? You know, like, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the worst that can happen? She rejects you. Well, I guess the worst that can happen is you get a rape charge, or you get sexual harassment charge. That's pretty bad, and that can happen. But anyway, point is that the manosphere is getting redundant. The manosphere is getting you know, way too saturated, and it's truth, and we all know it's truth, but there's only so much truth you can watch before it gets boring. It's like, yeah, just live your life, man. I don't know, find a hobby, and I say this in so many videos. It's like, just go find, you know, pick up painting, or pick up photography, or learn a skill. Like, make yourself happy. Stop worrying about women, or I don't even know, just stop thinking about it. Whether you're worrying or not, just stop thinking about it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they don't matter as much as you know. What makes them matter is when you give them attention. And yeah, it sucks being lonely, whatever, but there's nothing you can do. It's you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's like, yeah, if you don't compete, then you're gonna be lonely, and you're gonna be horny. But if you do compete, you're gonna, you know, you're competing against guys who are way out of your league. You're competing against guys who are um, born great looking, born with talent, born with more intelligence than you, born with better potential than you, way more creative than you. You know, like, I play chess, and I'm pretty good at chess, you know, because I've been playing a lot, and I'm pretty determined, and like, as far as like, that's the type of person I am. I'm a determined type of person who, if I want to get something, I'll take the time and hard work and discipline to get that thing. But I know I don't have that much natural talent. Like, there's a difference between somebody who's determined and works hard, and someone who just has insane natural talent. And there's guys out here who got natural talent. So if those guys who got natural talent, if they learn how to work hard a little bit, they're gonna kill me. You know, they're gonna kill someone like me in most almost anything, whether it's business, or getting girls, or making money, or leveling up, or in the gym. Like, I've worked out my whole life, and I'm not in amazing shape still, because it takes me a long time to recover. Or like, you know, I'm an ectomorph. I'm a hard gainer. It's hard for me to gain muscle, or like, and I do all the right things, and it becomes, success is based on habits. That's true. And you know, there was years where I got off. There was years where I like got off my diet, or I was depressed, or like I didn't have any energy because I wasn't taking the right supplements or drinking the right type of fluids and things like that. And there's things in life that you need to learn, like yeah, you need to learn how to have a correct diet because you'll live longer. You'll have improvement in the gym. You know, you need to learn how to take the right supplements so you got your mind right, so you got your energy right. You learn that type of stuff, but even with all that stuff, I'm still barely better than the average dude. Like I work, you know, there's guys out here who don't work out and they just take off their shirt, and it's just, they're just genetically gifted. So my point is that you can work really hard and waste a lot of time. And I'm not, well, you know, it depends on what you consider waste. You know, it's like you have to decide what you think is quality time. You have to decide what you think is something that's quality enough to spend your time on. And I would say hobbies or something, you know, particularly like your family, spending time with your family, things that really give back. But if you're toiling away for like some dream that may never happen, like that's tough, you know. And a lot of guys are just like, hey, I don't want to do this for women. They're not worth it, and that's what Better Bachelor's saying. And like, I understand that. That makes sense, you know. And it's not, whether you call that MGTOW or men going their own way or stepping out of the dating pool. It's a harsh reality that so many guys are dealing with, because women aren't. It's not about love anymore. It's not about a nice family. It's not about finding your special person. It's about satisfying their ego. It's about satisfying their financial desires. It's about satisfying their ego driven, selfish future goals. And your wallet is playing a part in that, you know. And for me, that's what it is, at least, you know. And I don't want to step my game up financially or you know, whatever, lifestyle or whatever, in order to just satiate some woman's selfish desires for her future and for what she wants as a family and stuff like that. So, you know, I find deeper meaning, you know. And so I would suggest that would be a better option, and that's what Better Bachelor is suggesting here.
Over on Locals, I don't normally have to do this, or I'm doing it on Locals and YouTube, but I'm putting it on YouTube. And also join me on Locals, because a lot of the content I can't put over here anymore. Look at this girl. First of all, she's...
But he's talking too about dating sites, and I would say, like, it's good and it's bad that dating sites have ruined dating. It's bad because it's really warped so many young women, and so many young women are just, it's brought out the worst in them. And I guess you could argue that those type of women were already bad anyways. You could argue that those type of women were just looking for something to make them more bad. And that's a decent argument, sort of. But I also think that people are programmable. People, you know, nature versus nurture. I think that people's environment does make them a certain way. And you can choose your environment to some extent. And I think that it's too tempting for women to be like, yeah, let me just log on and get all this instant validation. Let me log on and get all these instant compliments. Let me log on and, you know, if I want a hookup tonight, I can get it. If I want a free dinner, I can get it. If I want a trip to someplace, I can get it. They can get anything they want just from logging on. And that's a scary thing to think about, man. And that's what the internet has done for women. Hasn't done that for men, though. What it's done for men is it's put us in a bad spot. So what I would say is that, you know, like I said, 2016, for me, it died. I couldn't get anything after 2016. Stopped getting any replies. I don't even get replies anymore. I'm just dated. I'm outdated. I'm not good enough. I'm not good looking enough, or my pictures ain't professional enough. I just, whatever it is, I'm an old model. I'm outdated. Maybe I'm too old too. I'm in my 30s, so I'm too old now. You know, women. Maybe that's an excuse, because I think that some women want older guys, but I just don't look the part. I'm not good. I'm not photogenic enough. I'm not good looking enough. I just have nothing. I'm too bland. I'm too in the middle. I don't have anything unique. I don't stand out. Like, you know, they probably expect older guys to like own businesses, and that's what I'm competing with at my age. I'm competing with guys who drive Rolls Royces and fly around in jets. I can't compete with that at all. And these guys are banging girls 24/7. These guys are getting all the girls, so it's like, what can I do? You know, what do I have to offer? Well, I'm kind of athletic. They probably are too. You know, I'm an okay dresser. They're way better dressers. You know, so like, I do what I can. I'm not a slouch, but I'm just not. I can't compete, and so I can't even get sixes anymore. I can't. So I'm not even getting replies anymore, and that's just the truth. So for me, I started doing cold approach in like 2017, and I've just had rejections, and it's fine. You know, I'm fine with that, because at least she's not just ignoring me. That's kind of how I feel. At least I'm not just getting left on red. At least I'm not. It's not that kind of a rejection. So how I feel is like, if I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down swinging. So if you're gonna reject me, you need to do it in person, and you need to say something. And some girls don't. Some girls just walk away from you. Some girls just like give you this dead stare, which is horrible. But like I just look at them like, well, you're the problem. Like, you're a sick person. Like, you can't even say, oh, no thanks, I'm not interested, or sorry, I have a boyfriend. You can't even say that. You just look at me like I'm a creep. Like, you're I don't even think those type of women are like humans. But yeah, and I'll have good conversations. I'll have girls tell me like, oh, thank you for the compliment though. I'll have a boyfriend, but thank you for approaching me. It kind of made my day feel better. Made me feel better. I've had that. I've had girls like say just thank you for just like brighten up, and I've had some really good conversations, and I've gotten some phone numbers, and like the real honest truth, I think, is I've had one date set up, and I've approached. I haven't gone out that much in the last 5 years. I started in 2017. The first year or so, I was terrified of doing it because cold approach was always something I was just inherently scared of. But I figured out like I have to do it, like, because I just have to do it, because I mean, not only is online dating not going to work, but it's something that online dating stopped working, but it's something that like I've always wanted to do, is to break through that barrier, because I've always had like a fear of it. I hated being rejected. I had a lot of rejections because back before the internet in the 90s, you had to cold approach. There was no other way. You had to cold approach a girl. I mean, yeah, you could go to like a friend's house and meet a girl that way, and sometimes that happened, but a lot of times it was like you just had to cold approach. Hot girls were not just accessible. You had to approach them. And so like, you would think now like, oh, hot girls are accessible online. No, they're not, because they don't respond to you. So how I look at cold approach is like, well, I'm going to at least get that girl to like acknowledge my existence. I'm going to at least get her to like talk to me. She's got to say some words to me. She's got to look at me and know that I'm real, that I'm a human being. I'm not just some, hey, how's it going in her inbox, right? I'm a dude who's trying to approach you in real life, and I'm talking to you, and I'm asking you out, and that's what it is. And however that happens, however my game works, or however I shoot my shot, you're gonna have to respond. You're gonna have to, in your mind, you're gonna know that I'm real. You're gonna acknowledge that I'm there, and it is what it is. And I've gotten a lot of rejections. I've got a lot of bad rejections. But I've also had a lot of cool interactions too. I've had a lot of nice rejections. I've had a lot of girls who like were just sweet and graceful, and it is what it is. So it's not like all women out there are just horrible to all men. What I say, what I talk about in my videos is still true. Hypergamy is still real. People are still jaded. People are still messed up. Love is still all the things that I talk about. It's still based on, it's still, for a woman, is conditional, all this stuff. And there's some sweethearts out there. Don't get it twisted. It's just rare, man. And you are competing. You're competing. Female nature is female nature. So he talks about passport bros in a second here, where he talks about like, hey, you don't have to come in and compete if you don't have any money, and if you're not that good looking. You can just get a passport and you can go out, and like, I don't think that's an option necessarily for most guys, because like I say here, I said you can't travel comfortably unless you have decent money. Why manosphere guys don't realize that is beyond me. Not everyone is a successful YouTuber or successful, period. Americans are struggling paycheck to paycheck. The average dude doesn't have the option to travel. Plus, female nature is female nature. Maybe it's not as bad as America, but it's still female nature, which I think is true. Like in any society, it's not America alone. It's any society that is like and yeah, it's traditions as well, and it's culture as well. I do think that plays a big part. It does matter a lot, but female nature and hypergamy wants the best guy, and if you are in a first world country or a first world nation, whatever they call it, a advanced nation where, you know, we all know France or the UK or Germany or, you know, America or Canada, wherever, like these countries that are developed, that are not poor, you know, not third world countries or whatever, money matters. Money matters to women. And so I don't think just getting your passport is the answer. Now, yeah, if you're getting your passport and going to a poor country and you have money as an American, yeah, you're going to be playing with an advantage, and you're going to have a cheat code there, but that doesn't mean that you're still going to find real love. Unless, like, maybe they have traditional values wherever you go, and you find a woman who was raised, like, with you know, Christian values. You know, I've heard some Spanish girls are really, you know, but then again, it's like, if she's attractive, I don't care where you're from or what culture you come from, your background. If you're an attractive girl, there's a good chance that you're going to be having a lot of sex. So it's like, you really can't, it's very difficult to win at this game. You kind of have to get blessed. You kind of have to get, you know, very, very lucky. A miracle kind of has to happen. Um, and I'm not dissing Tribe of Men here or anything like that, but his advice on this video is like, oh, you know, you can just get a passport and go travel, and then, you know, your problem is solved. It's like, no, it's not. Your problem isn't solved. Your problems really are only just starting. I mean, unless your problem is solved if you find the love of your life and she's just so cute and unique and she totally loves you and she just has this great attitude and she's got a good character and she's moral and she hasn't slept around and she just really likes you and she's got a good head on her shoulders. That's when your problem is solved. And you don't think she's going to cheat and it's going to work out and it's been working for 10 years and it's all great, it's all gravy. Your problem is solved in that case. Maybe, but still, she could always divorce you, or she could always cheat on you. I mean, your problems are never solved, you know, with women, really, for the most part. And I think that's what guys like Better Bachelor are saying, and guys from like MGTOW, you know, monk mode type guys. That's what they're saying. Is they're saying like, I don't want to. I got enough problems in my life. Life is stressful enough. What do I need a ball and chain for? What do I need another huge liability for? You know, and the only problem is that we've got a sex drive, and when we get lonely and we want companionship and we want love, and that's true, and that's just an unfortunate thing, but it's kind of a joke, man. It's a joke because women are problems. Women are just problems, and it's like any angle you look at it, it's a problem. If you get married, she could cheat on you. If you get married, your marriage could grow stale. You think you found the love of your life, and 5 years later you're divorced. 50% divorce rate, like that's a problem. So it's a problem. Oh, okay, let's say you become a passport bro. Well, she probably only wants you for your money because you're this exotic American who makes money, and he's rich in my city, and then what if some jealous guy who was trying to hit on her, he hates you because you're an American, you're a foreigner, and he tries to harm you, or so your problems never end with women. It's never ending. You see my point? And so, like, okay, let's say you don't get married, you don't travel, you just want to hook up. Well, now you got to compete with all the other guys trying to hook up, and now you got to compete with these women. You got to go out and deal with these toxic women. You got to deal with rejection. You got to deal with oh, all the time and money and effort put into dressing better and working out and having a cool car and making your apartment or your house look cool enough for a girl to come in, or this, that, and the third. And it's like, it's constant problems, man. And so it's like, well, why don't I just meditate? You know, why don't I just chill? Why don't I just like focus on something that's like rewarding, like I'm painting, or like I'm hiking, or I'm finding a hobby, and like that sounds like a better option. But then what happens is loneliness comes in, or like you know, you get horny, and it's like that sucks too. So it's like, no, you can't win. I guess the best case scenario is if you find the love of your life and she really supports you and she's really down for you and it works, and she doesn't want to cheat, and she just is rare breed where she's faithful and she really only loves you. And I mean, I guess that's probably why people get married. That's the best case scenario, because you deal with the sex thing. You don't need sex. I mean, even though the sex can get boring with the same person, at least it's probably good sex, and it's consistent, you know, sex. And you get consistent intimacy, you get consistent touch and love and kisses, and a consistent affection, and you get somebody to help you out in life. She helps you cook, or she helps you you know, pay the bills, or she helps you, she's your companion. You're not lonely. And those are all positives. But on the flip side, what if she's nagging, or what if like you don't have any privacy anymore? You miss your privacy. You miss how you were just you could just chill in your quiet home and not have to talk to anybody or not have to entertain anybody. But you know, what if she is stressful to you somehow, or like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't win. It's like any which way. There's no real answer, and it's like, for modern guys, you know, a lot, particularly, you know, particularly red pill guys, it's like, you know, we're looking at that and we're like, dang, it's not worth it, because these women aren't even that. They're not. It's like, you can't even find that. That is rare these days. That's a unicorn. And as messed up, or I wouldn't say messed up, but as problematic as that could be, like you know, like I said, maybe she's annoying, or maybe you lose your privacy, or maybe like the sex isn't so good after a couple of years, or maybe she starts to gain weight, or like something happens where she starts to get annoying, like, but I'm still basing that on she was great at first. But you can't even find a woman who's great at first anymore. You can't even find that anymore. It's she's terrible. It's she's a narcissist. It's she's had sex with 500 guys. It's she's, you know, crazy. She's not intelligent, or she is overweight, or she's a 5 who thinks she's a 10. Like, that's what you're dealing with. You're not even dealing with that girl who's like, oh yeah, I really love her and we got married, and you know, maybe a couple years later she got annoying in this way, but it's something I can deal with because I still love her. Or like, it's not even that kind of problem. It's like, you can't even find that girl anymore. What are you? You're dealing with girls out here who got OnlyFans. You're dealing with girls out here who are like internet narcissists. You're dealing with girls out here who like have no personality. You're dealing with girls out here who like, you know, have no morals, have no character, have no intelligence, have nothing going for them. All they have to offer is sex, and the sex maybe not even that good, or maybe she's got an STD, or maybe she's got a kid. You're dealing with single moms. You're dealing with over the hill women who, you know, think that they should be with a rich guy, or, you know, and like, you're never good enough and you always got to impress her. And it's like, you can't even get that basic bottom line girlfriend anymore, that bottom line wife anymore, that bottom line cute little relationship love anymore. You can't get that anymore. Almost, I don't see it that much. Where are these type of women who are like that? All these girls who are out here on TikTok and social media making these videos about, I just got ghosted, or this, that. These are bad people. If you pay attention to like what they say, you pay attention to how they move, they're not quality human beings. They're not quality women. They're not fit for dating. This is why guys ghost them. This is why guys pump and dump them. This is why guys don't ever call them back, because they're not they're not even normal. They're not even fit for regular dating, you know? So anyway, man, that's what we're dealing with. So it's not like, oh yeah, let me just get my passport and I'll just go find a girl. It's like, you know, maybe yeah, America's a uh, really downward spiral. America has really gone down. I will say that, but you know, the whole world's going down. You know, the whole world's getting darker and darker, and getting more immoral and more degenerate, and you know, I don't know if that's the answer, man. Maybe I've heard some guys get, you know, some guys, oh, I got this cute little wife, and maybe, you know, I think you just have to get lucky. Even the Bible says that. The Bible says, uh, he who finds a quality wife finds a good thing, or he who finds a wife finds a good thing. But I think it means, you know, that God blessed you to find a quality woman, and that's, I don't know what that takes because that's never happened to me. So, I mean, probably a lot, you know, a lot of prayer. You got to be in a situation where God favors you. I don't know, just for whatever reason, never worked out for me. Even though I did pray for it when I was younger, but I just got bad. I got a lot of bad luck. Certain things happen, and yeah. So even though, you know, I had girlfriends here and there and whatever, it's always fleeting. It's fun in the moment, you know, it's fun in the moment, but eventually it dries up, and I'd probably trade it all in for a quality wife that I loved, that I was in love with, at a young age, but it never happened. I looked, and it was always, you know, I wasn't good looking enough, or I wasn't bad boy enough, I wasn't successful enough, and that's when I got red pilled. That's how I got red pilled and learned female nature, was that I did want love, which kills and dispels the whole myth that guys only want one thing. So, but we all know this stuff. This is basics. This is female nature basics. Complain about the guys with good intentions who really want to love them and marry, or excuse me, ignore the guys with good intentions who really want to love and marry them, and then complain about the guys who are just using them for sex because those guys are bad boys. It's the same old shtick that women have been doing for however many decades. But I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, I think probably they had it right back in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, and somewhere along the line, 1960s, second wave feminism came along and just totally poisoned the minds and emotions and culture of young women, and we've never recovered. I think that's what happened, but you know, historically, I don't know. Maybe women were always messed up, but female nature is female nature regardless of that. It's just that it used to be where, like, our culture and our tradition in America was like love was the thing in 1920s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. Love was real love and starting a family. I'm not saying people didn't do degenerate stuff back then, because they absolutely did. I'm not saying women didn't sleep around back then, because they absolutely did. It's just that I don't think it was as mainstream, and I don't think it was as popular, and I don't think it was as pervasive, and I don't think it was as saturated as it is now. Now it's just a very, very downward trend, and which I believe is going to end in the end of the world, because I'm a Christian and I believe that. But anyway, guys, appreciate you listening. It's been Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.